Yet, says ABC's Devin Dwyer.
While the court sided with President Trump, they made clear that.
And good morning and welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. This is the video live stream for Tuesday, April 8th, and we appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much. We have a special studio guest. It is Anna Abdelnour from Blossomtime Festival, the president of Blossomtime.
Good morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
You.
Welcome back to the WSJM studios.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you here. And we were talking just a moment ago, before we started the video live stream, about those dire wolves.
Yes.
That are super cute.
They are adorable.
These
what are they going to do with them?
I don't know. These scientists, they took a look at, they found a tooth in Ohio from a 13,000 year ago wolf. And then there's something about it. They found a skull in Idaho that was 72,000 years old. They've now mixed it with current timber wolf genetics, and they've come up with these ancient wolves are walking on the planet again. Yeah. At a secret disclosed location.
Right. You know, I saw the picture of them yesterday,
and
I actually thought it wasn't real because they're really cute. And I thought, oh my gosh, what a cute little stuffed animal it is. But then you find out, no, this is really real. And it's crazy. I mean, they're beautiful.
Yeah, they are beautiful. They are beautiful. And you know, we were talking about, well, what are they going to do with them? We don't know. What are they going to do with them? And so they have them at an undisclosed location, I imagine, because people are going to want to somehow either harm them or try to let them go free.
Right.
Because, you know, there are eco-terrorists and that kind of thing out there. But I don't know. I mean, maybe they put them on display at some of the...
I mean, maybe they end up going to a traveling, exhibit, like a zoo for people to see, or a museum or something. But, so now we have 3. Yeah. Are we going to end up with 300 at some point?
Maybe. and then you wonder, okay, well, in this company, Colossal Biosciences, it reminds me of Jurassic Park.
Yes.
I mean, do they bring back the dodo bird? Do they bring back the woolly mammoth? What else are they going to bring back?
Right. Are we going to have a T-Rex running around?
Oh, no.
I hope not.
Why not?
We'll use them for the parade.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to rent the T-Rex for May 10th.
Yeah, can we get the T-Rex, please?
Oh, my goodness. That would be something else. I mean, it's fascinating what science can do, but you always wonder, and you think about the science fiction novels of be careful what you do. And but it is good to know that you can bring some things back from extinction. Yeah. If we have things in the ecosystem right now that are being, hunted to extinction.
Right.
If we can protect and bring those things back, that'd be something.
Right. And it's interesting to see what they are going to do with them because they are beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, 140 pounds is a pretty good size, beautiful running around. I don't necessarily want to see them in my yard.
I want them on my side.
Yeah,
I want to be able to train the wolf and have it on my side.
I don't want to see them running in the snow in the backyard.
You won't because they're white.
I know. That's what's scary. I'll just see these 2 eyes.
Anna Abdelnour is the president of Blossomtime. We're going to talk all about all the fun stuff. You've got the pageants coming up
this weekend.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe.
You ready?
Are we ever really ready? When 7 o'clock rolls around, that's what time the show starts.
Okay,
I think that's when we're ready.
Okay, all right.
We're doing it at 7.
Yeah, the kids are ready.
It's ready. Yeah, the kids are ready. I actually think we're ready. I think now is the time in your mind you run through the list of things that are probably, have I done this? Yes. Have I done that?
Yeah.
It's the checklist in your mind. And, because it seems so effortless, but yet there's so many people that are working so hard for it. And I'm so grateful for the volunteers, and I'm grateful for Jamie and Krista in the office because those 2 really are the glue. I mean, it's hard to believe we only have 2 paid staff members.
Wow.
And the rest are volunteers, but people are... without those 2, without Jamie and Krista, we would be totally lost. And in that, our little office is buzzing. People picking up tickets, people coming in with questions, and
we're gonna explore more of that in just a moment. And we're gonna have Anna Abdelnour as our guest this morning. So stay tuned. We're gonna be back in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got to get through some news, some sports, some weather, and we'll be back right here on WSJM.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. Having a good conversation already with our special guest who's in studio this morning. Let's say a quick hello again to Anna Abdelnour. She's the president of the Blossomtime Festival. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning, Ken.
Did you run into any snow out there?
No.
Okay, because
there's a kind of a little bit of flaking kind of going on.
okay.
But nothing.
Sorry, that's just my dandruff.
Yeah. But nothing that I would say, oh no, we can't go out today.
No, absolutely nothing like that at all. I think it was just a nice little reminder from Mother Nature of, hey, still here.
I'm in charge.
I'm in charge.
Yeah.
You will not celebrate spring just yet. All right. But we'll talk with Anna Abdelnour in just a few moments. We have her for the hour. We're going to talk about Blossomtime Festival. We're going to talk about the parade, the pageant, the Bud Run, everything else that's going on. We're going to talk about it here in just a few minutes. First, we've got to get some weather out of the way, and then we'll talk about the news, and then we'll get into our interview on the video live stream as well. Just go to Facebook or YouTube, type in WSJM, and you can get the video live there. Okay, forecast for today, partly cloudy skies, nothing really in the way of snowfall, but a high around 37 degrees, northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, and it's cold out there. The feels like temperature right now, let's take a look in Benton Harbor. It's 28 on the thermometer, but it feels like 21 degrees. St. Joseph, 29 degrees on the thermometer, but it feels like 18 degrees, so it's cold. Tonight's forecast, partly cloudy, low around 27. Wednesday's forecast, mostly cloudy. There's a 60% chance of some sort of precipitation tomorrow. They're saying it could be rain, could be snow, but the high is going to be around 42 degrees. So we'll see what time that precipitation comes in. Thursday and Friday, clouds and a chance of rain on Thursday. Friday and Saturday and Sunday, I don't see much in the way of precipitation for those days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, partly cloudy, except for on Saturday, where it's going to be mostly sunny. We're going to get a high on Saturday of 56 degrees and a high of Sunday of 60 degrees, so that'll be good as well. All right, some of the news that we have from the WSJM newsroom this morning. More discussions in South Haven about the potential for lifeguards at area beaches and direction to create an itemized list of what it would cost. That happened at last night's South Haven City Council meeting. Members received a proposal from the United States Lifeguard Association for what beach coverage will look like from a staffing perspective if they approve this. Lifeguard Association spokesman Chris Brewster presented a plan with staffing levels, training, equipment, supplies, and hiring costs if the city were to provide such service starting Memorial Day and run through Labor Day. He said the group will be there to support the city if they decide that they want to move forward.
In terms of the big picture, I mean, we're doing this on a voluntary basis, right? So we want to see you succeed, and we'll do what we can within reason to help out. What we have done in the past, when a community is wanting to start up lifeguards, there are retired lifeguards who have run agencies, who have done training and so forth, and we've typically given those communities a list of people to talk to.
The Lifeguard Association has been consulting with the city and recommending that there be 3 lifeguard towers at South Beach and 2 at North Beach, on duty from 9 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. daily, having 5 lifeguards at South Beach, 5 at North Beach, and a chief lifeguard. Consultants estimate the price of lifeguards alone would be about $234,000 a year without benefits. Additional costs covering basic equipment, uniforms, and towers were less clear. The council voted unanimously to have city staff develop an itemized list showing the price of equipment before moving forward and considering any kind of final decision on that in South Haven. The Friends of Berrien County Trails are reflecting on a major milestone in the group's history as a ribbon-cutting approaches for part of the Marquette Greenway this month. The first roughly 3-mile stretch of the Chicago to New Buffalo Trail is now open after around 10 years of work to raise the funds and sign the contracts. The now completed section goes from downtown New Buffalo south to Grand Beach. Friends President Gary Wood tells us it's taken a lot of work by a lot of people to get to this point.
Well, it's obviously a labor of love because it's taken years to get to this point, and we're just ecstatic to have this section done, and you can ride it, you can see it, and it's just amazing.
Wood says when he sees people on the trail or hears from those who have been using it, it's overwhelming to realize what's been accomplished. The Friends of Berrien County Trails has been involved in the project for about 5 years, while the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission's Marcy Hamilton has been involved for about the past decade. She tells us that it wasn't easy to get the Marquette Greenway going, but things did start to fall in place a few years ago.
Yeah, I would say in the last 4 years, it's really kind of kicked in. We had, a more feasible route and started really moving the needle on getting it implemented.
So far, about 35 miles of the total 60-mile Marquette Greenway are finished, while groups in Michigan work on their sections. Their counterparts in Indiana and Illinois are doing the same thing. Wood says there's already some completed trail in Michigan City, and when Phase 2 of the Michigan section is done, from Grand Beach to the state line, hikers and bicyclists will be able to go all the way from New Buffalo to Michigan City. Work on that second phase will begin this year. And finally, the Michigan Department of Natural Resources has teamed up with the Food Bank Council of Michigan for the next season of the Hunters Feeding Michigan program. The DNR's Joe Pressgrove tells us the program is a way for Michigan hunters to donate game that they've bagged to food pantries to help those in need.
Those deer that they donate gets turned into ground venison, and then that ground venison is distributed across Michigan. So with contracting with the Food Bank Council of Michigan, we were able to get that venison out to potentially 2,800 different food pantries across the state.
The Hunters Feeding Michigan program has been around since 2005, and Pressgrove says it makes a difference each and every year.
Since October 1st of 2024, over 75,000 pounds of ground venison was donated. We say about 40 pounds per deer, and one deer equals about 160 servings. So it goes a long ways.
Now that the DNR has reached a contract with the Food Bank Council of Michigan, the council will ensure the venison gets to the suitable food pantries. The DNR previously worked with a different partner. Any hunters interested in being a part of the program, you can learn more at the DNR's website, which also has a list of processors that are taking part. They include one in Eau Claire. Meanwhile, the DNR is inviting people to order coffee from Deer Camp Coffee Roasting Company, which donates a portion of its proceeds to the Hunters Feeding Michigan program. We have links with all that information at our website. Just check it out at WSJM.com. That's a look at some of the news that we're covering in the WSJM newsroom. We have more to talk about. We'll be talking about that at 7:30 and at 8 o'clock this morning. It is Tuesday, April 8th. It's the WSJM Morning Show. It's 7:12, and our special guest in studio this morning, we'll get to sports in just a moment. First, we've got to talk about Blossomtime, because we've got a special guest in studio, Anna Abdelnour, who's the president of Blossomtime Festival. Good morning again, and welcome again.
Good morning, and thank you.
Have you figured out a way that we can get those prehistoric wolves into Southwest Michigan? How cool would that be?
I have not, because I'm ready. I'm ready for the parade for them.
All right, we'll wait for the parade.
Yeah, I mean, if you figure it out, we'll put them in.
Very good. Anna Abdelnour is the president of Blossomtime Festival, and this is your time of year.
This is our Super Bowl.
This is your Super Bowl. This is when you're the busiest and you're getting ready to celebrate the most.
Right.
What for those who don't know you, we'll talk about who you are and your background and what you've been doing over the many years with the Blossomtime Festival. But first, give us just a preview. What's coming up this weekend?
We have the Mr. Blossomtime and Showcase of Queens on Sunday evening, and then Miss Blossomtime pageant on Monday evening. Both are at the Mendel Center main stage, and it's pretty exciting to watch these young people go through the practices and be ready. And here we are now. It's Blossomtime. The weather's going to be good.
Yes,
the weather
it's going to be great.
Really good.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful.
So people can come out. We don't have to worry about the snow or the flurries or anything.
Nope, none of that. We cleared it out. No precipitation in the forecast for the weekend right now.
It's Blossomtime.
It's Blossomtime. It's time for the blossoms to be out there. You still availability for tickets and
everybody? There are tickets available, and they can call our office. And there will be some at the door also. Okay, so we'll give you the phone number and the website and all that stuff. That's all right here during the WSJM Morning Show this hour. Blossomtimefestival.org is your website. And so if you want more information on that, but we'll be talking about it all hour long here. So we're visiting with Anna Abdelnour. She is the president of Blossomtime Festival. That interview starts right now on our video live stream. We're going to have sports here on the radio and come back on WSJM.
Sports on the Michigan News.
All right, and for those of you who do not know Anna Abdelnour, Anna, would you mind just introducing yourself, just giving people your background?
My name is Anna, of course, and I'm originally from California. I moved here many, many years ago, and I've been involved with the Blossomtime Festival over 30 years now. There's nothing like it in the country, and that's what makes us it's so unique to be able to have this wonderful thing of all these communities coming together to celebrate our agriculture, our spring here. Like I said, I've lived elsewhere across the country, and I've never have witnessed anything like this. It's just really beautiful to watch the young people, all ages, come together to celebrate what we have here in Southwest Michigan. I feel really deeply about it because I feel that if you've not traveled outside of Southwest Michigan and seen the beautiful fruit belts like we have here or the growing vegetables, this is a remarkable area, and we should be celebrating it every day.
Yeah, and this is one of the longest running festivals in the state of Michigan, right?
We are proud that we are the oldest and largest multi-community festival. We're celebrating 119 years.
119 years.
Pretty amazing.
That is pretty cool. So the Blossomtime Festival, for those who don't know, as president, what is your role? What do you do on a day-to-day?
Oh, boy. I don't know. I think I wear many hats. And I think any given day, any one of those it could be a different hat. It could be, trying to get a sponsor. It could be trying to work with the kids. It could be walking the parade route and talking about what we're seeing on the route.
Yeah.
It could be, there's just, we have a board of directors and they're all volunteer, and I'm lucky that they're very active and they help me. Like I said, we have many volunteers that are so great. It's not just one person. That's why I say we wear many hats, because most of our volunteers wear many, many hats also too.
Yeah.
It's a labor of love, I think. And so for me as a volunteer, I do it because of, like I said, I get to meet the best young people in the communities, and I get to also speak to some of the best people around because of Blossomtime.
And to see the people that are involved, I'm thinking right now about the parade itself. When you see the people involved and you see the communities coming together and the communities displaying their different floats and the bands, and you see the veterans in there, it's an amazing collection.
You know what? Honestly, it's one of those things that no matter how many times I go, I'm usually on the parade route by 6 a.m. just checking things and seeing how things are going. But the minute I see starting the lineup of the units coming in, whether you like the floats coming in, or the bands are coming in and practicing a little bit, or any of the military person, it really warms my heart. It really does. It's something.
Yeah, no, hold that thought for just one moment. Sorry to cut you off. We've got to get back onto the radio here. We're talking with Anna Abdelnour on WSJM's Morning Show.
Some lingering showers around Thursday. Gradually warming as the week goes on. Highs will return to the 50s as we close out the week. I'm WSB 22 meteorologist Jessica Burns.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
717 WSJM Morning Show continues for Tuesday, April 8th. 28 degrees in Benton Harbor right now, 29 in St. Joseph, 28 in South Haven. You probably need the winter coat just because it feels like, in St. Joseph, for instance, feels like 18 degrees out there right now. Who knew? Who knew we'd still be feeling that kind of, well, I guess it is Michigan, and it is April. Good morning, and thanks for joining us. We have a special guest in studio this hour. We're talking with Anna Abdelnour. It's that time of year again, Blossomtime Festival.
Yeah.
Blossomtime is happening. So Anna was just introducing herself and her background a little bit more. As president of Blossomtime Festival, we were asking you, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? And let's talk about, we can talk about the pageants, or we can talk with the parades. Let's continue talking about the parades.
Yeah.
But what is the organization?
Oh my gosh.
How do you pull something together like this?
Well, the parade is an animal.
Yeah.
It's huge. And we actually have a brand new parade chairman this year.
Okay.
And his name is Jeffrey Alish. And Jeffrey is part of our board of directors. He's our vice president and our treasurer on the board. And he came to me like last summer and he said, you know what, I think I wouldn't mind trying the parade. And we was like, oh, okay. And I said, why don't you go home and think about it?
Are you sure?
That's right. Go home and think about it, talk about it,
Yeah.
see if this is something you want to do.
Yeah.
And he came back and said, yeah, I do. Well, it's basically a year-long process to get this parade going.
Wow.
And he's done a remarkable job. It's a major learning curve, and I commend him for all the hours he's already put in. But it's not an easy thing to do, to try to get the units lined up, figure out all the spacing, and you don't think about it, but when you're on that parade route and you see the ambulance out there, it's because somebody's just had to make a call and get them out there and make sure that they're, we just take some of these things for granted, but it's like I said, it's a long process to get it going. But he's done a great job, and I'm really super excited to be able to have the parade again. And WSBT will be broadcasting it, and TPC will actually be doing the remote on-site, doing all the production work on it, and I'm really excited to have TPC doing it because they do a fantastic job.
Yeah, let's talk about TPC. We see
Yeah.
them do many things in the community in and around Southwest Michigan. They helped us with our studio here, the cameras and such. But so in prior years, WSBT, they had the remote satellite truck.
They handled it.
They
Yes.
had all that ability to do that. They decided, we're going to get out of that part of the business and sold their truck off.
Right.
So TPC stepped in.
TPC did step in and stepped in a huge way. We're really grateful for, their help. And also they've always worked on the pageant with us, but this year they've taken, they really are helping us with the pageant. I'm excited to see some of the different things because I've also been at some of the events that TPC has done around the community. And I've got to say they're remarkable. They really do a great job. So I'm excited for us, for Blossomtime, to be able to have this opportunity to have a little, maybe a different look to us. We'll see.
Yeah, oh, that's exciting. And the parade is coming up again
on May 10th.
May 10th. And what are the guidelines? Do you issue any guidelines, or is that up to the city as far as like when?
Yeah,
because if you're down there at 6 a.m., I've got a couple of chairs. Could you set them up?
Yeah, if I am down there at 6 a.m. and I can set them up.
No,
because 6 a.m. is the time for the city allows for blankets to be put out and chairs to be put out.
Okay,
and I that's probably one of the most exciting things is when you drive down the route about 9:30 and you see all these blankets and it's. You know what? I always feel like it's the fabric, the quilts of America out there. I love it because you go, oh my gosh, people are coming. They're coming.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's exciting. And it's fun to stand on the parade route and watch and see the tarps out and everything else. People sitting having a good time, the kids. So the parade is coming up on May 10th. So we know that. Let's talk a little bit about the pageant that's happening this weekend. What's the run up and what's the reason for this Mr. and Ms. Blossomtime?
Well, I'll be honest. The Mr. Blossomtime started as a fundraiser. And this is our 28th year. We started doing it as a fundraiser because at that time, funds are hard. We're a nonprofit, 501c3, and scholarships are a big part of what we do. But yet, everything we do, we try to support ourselves by doing it. And so 28 years ago, we kind of came up with this idea. If we have a Queen's pageant, there's a lot of gentlemen that are interested. And we did the Mr. pageant. Well, it, of course, has taken off, and the guys all love it. Yeah. And we all love it in our communities to see them, too. So the rundown is the boys will be there on Sunday night, and they'll be competing for the title of Mr. Blossomtime in his court. And then the girls will be doing the Showcase Awards. They'll be competing in the modeling communications, and then they'll also be doing photogenic that night, too. And the gentlemen will be competing also in communications, and they'll have a modeling award, and they'll also have a photogenic. So it's going to be a fun night. It's like a 3-ring circus, but it's fun. It's fast paced, and if you've never been to a Sunday night show, I'd recommend it because actually I think it's really entertaining. Yeah. And Monday night, of course, will be Miss Blossomtime, the traditional Miss Blossomtime pageant, where we'll be at that point choosing our 92nd Miss Blossomtime.
That's great. 92nd Miss Blossomtime.
Yeah.
And by the way, for those of you who are interested, Mr. Blossomtime will be here on WSJM Monday morning.
Yeah.
Monday morning? Is it Monday morning?
Monday morning.
Monday morning, yeah. So we'll have a Monday morning. I've already got it on the calendar.
Yep.
And then Tuesday morning, we'll have Miss Blossomtime.
Yes.
Yeah. So you just tune in right here, and you can see the court as they are, because we'll have it on the video live stream, and you can hear them. We'll be quizzing them. Very difficult questions.
Very difficult, because after I'm sure they're up all night.
Yeah, because they come in and what time do these things usually wrap up?
Well, they don't, it's not really a bad time. It's usually by 10 o'clock we're done.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when they go home with their families.
Oh, they're super excited.
I don't even know if they sleep that night. And the next morning, they're here bright and early.
Yeah. And then you've got a full day for them.
Oh, yeah. We have a big full day for them. They head off to the, traditional exchange Kiwanis luncheon.
Yeah.
That's their, and that's their longest standing event that they'll be doing. They've done that for many, many years, and then they kind of continue on all day long. So it's great. I love the fact that you guys have them bright and early because it's one of their traditions here.
Yeah, I love it.
You guys have done that for so many years. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. We love doing it. It's part of the community, and if we can help raise their voices at all, we just appreciate the opportunity to do that. Talk about the court. Who are the members of the court?
The members of the court,
talk about, so you've got the first
runner-up, the second runner-up, and then a Mr. Nice Guy, the gentleman will be choosing. He's the equivalent to Miss Congeniality.
Okay. And
so-
what's the reasoning for those who don't know, like me, Miss Congeniality or Mr. Nice Guy? What's the history behind that?
It's interesting. I was just talking to the kids on this Sunday's past rehearsal because I was talking to them about they're going to have an opportunity to vote for Mr. Nice Guy or Miss Congeniality. And for me, it's probably one of my most special awards that I feel that we give as a festival because 3 independent people are coming in and judging them, and they do not know them. But those are 3 independent people. And bottom line is, any given day, it could have been 3 different people judging them and 3 different winners. But Mr. and Miss Nice Guy and Miss Congeniality, that's something that is voted on by your peers. And no bigger, higher compliment to me is than your peers have watched you week after week. They've met you for the first time, and they kind of get to know you.
Yeah.
And they know that, they're not looking for, as I told them, you're looking for someone to represent you for the entire year. So who's a good leader? Who's been that person that you've noticed has paid attention? Who's been kind to others? Who's reached out when someone needs some help? That's who a Miss Congeniality is, or Mr. Nice Guy. And I really feel that award is so special because their peers have chosen them.
Yeah. I love that. And then the court goes out into the communities.
The 4 of them usually, yes. And so 4 boys and 4 girls, which total of 8. And we go out in the communities and we try to do as many goodwill community service events. So if anybody has something that, they feel that would be great to have the court come, it could be a reading at a library. It could be a assisted living facility that needs, would like to have some visitors come in. We love having and taking them. And we love being able to have the young people have an opportunity to meet others by doing some community service.
And their responsibility goes throughout the
entire year. Yeah. Actually, tomorrow we are heading off to Blossomland Learning Center. And we've done this for over 40 years. We've gone to the Blossomland, and that's an educational facility for special needs children, and from ages 5, I believe, to 26.
Okay.
It goes, and this is the Easter party we traditionally do. And so all the young people, all the community queens in their courts and their younger courts are invited to attend this with the community kings. And so there's about 110 of us that will, pop on the door of the Blossomland Learning Center, and we'll have a pizza and ice cream and cake party, and then we'll do an Easter dance with them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And why I bring that up is because that's the last official thing the 2024 Miss Blossomtime Court and Kings will do.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a year-long commitment your children make with us, but we hope that you find that this commitment is a growing experience and something that they'll look back fondly on many years. And it's interesting because a lot of our volunteers in the communities are past kings and queens. And you can tell that something's made it, something's impacted them. So we're really proud of having them from young ages all the way up.
So the Mr. Blossomtime pageant, the competition is coming up Sunday night.
Sunday night at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, and it'll be held at?
The Mendel Main Stage.
The Mendel Main Stage, and tickets are still available. Just go to blossomtimefestival.org if you want to get more information on the tickets. And then the Miss Blossomtime pageant, that goes on Monday evening.
Correct.
And
at 7 o'clock.
Same stage?
And you can, same stage, same time. You can call the office at 269-982-8016. And they'll be able to help you with tickets.
What are the big challenges that you have when you put together this? Let's leave social media aside for just a moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay, which challenges what do you trying to gather close to 50, 60 kids at one time and trying to get them to pay attention, or is it or the challenge of telling them it's going to be okay because now they're all walking in and It was interesting at practice. Can you give us the schedule? Give us the complete schedule. Kids are very organized. I love that.
Has that changed over the years?
Well, you know what? I think they're even more organized where they want details, because they're very busy now and they want exact times. And what we try to tell them, that's probably the biggest struggle for them is we're in the driver's seat and let us drive. You just need to know what you need to know.
Here's when you show up.
Just show up and you know what you're supposed to say and all those things. But let us handle the particulars of the timing because you'll make yourself, you'll drive yourself crazy if we're a minute off or here. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges to make sure kids are understanding it's okay. It's okay to let somebody else be in charge of that part of it.
Yeah.
But that, and then the other part, of course, is it's sometimes I say it's like herding cats. You have, 60 to 70 kids and they're all going this way. It's by the end of the week, I'm like, oh boy, I'm watching them.
That is something else. 60 or 70 kids, is that both the
Mr. and Miss?
Mr. and Miss, and you winnow it down to to
8.
That's
8 is
amazing.
manageable.
That is something else. We're talking with Anna Abdelnour from Blossomtime Festival. She's the president there. We're going to continue this conversation on the video live stream and here on the radio as well. Stick around. We've got more coming up in just a moment. First, we've got to check in on some financial news from the Bloomberg folks, see what's happening with the tariffs and the stock market. We'll get the latest world and national news from ABC. We'll talk about what we're going to talk about at 7:30, our WSJM newsroom, and the newscast coming up at 8 o'clock as well. It's all right here on WSJM.
When it's time to choose a residual herbicide.
Okay, continuing on the video live stream with Anna Abdelnour, president of Blossomtime Festival. So you've got the 2025 Blossomtime Grand Floral Parade.
Correct.
Happens Saturday, May 10th, 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
Wow.
But we also, the week before, on May 3rd, have the Blossomtime Youth Parade.
Yep.
And that will be right down Main Street. And applications are being accepted right now.
Still? Okay.
For the Youth Parade. Yeah.
Okay.
So, if your little one you have a covered wagon that you decorate, or they have a dog they want to walk in the parade, it's a great event. It's sponsored by Starks, and we're very excited to be able to offer this again for the youth. The Bud Prince and Princess are the grand marshals of the youth parade, and they lead our parade off. But we're happy to have anyone that would like to participate downtown State Street. And even that day, we would accept your application because it's for the youth, and we want to engage as many. The night before the youth parade is the youth ball. And this is something we just started last year. It's brand new, and it's open to the public, and it's a ball for all young children and their special someone. And so there's dancing, and there's cake, and there's the carousel we have open for your riding.
Aww.
And it's a really fun event. So it's from 14 and under, basically.
This is down at Shadowland then?
Down at Shadowland, and everybody's invited to attend. Tickets are $20 a piece.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so you've got the youth ball that happens.
Yep, on Friday, and then we got the youth parade on Saturday.
Oh, man.
So maybe after you've been to the youth ball and you've had a good time with us, you come down and you march in the parade.
Yeah, I love that. We'll talk about those on the air too, because I want to get the word out that you're accepting applications on that. I mean, dog shows. You take dog shows?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Get a covered wagon together, a bunch of dogs, maybe a couple of prehistoric wolves that have been.
Oh my gosh, not the wolves, not the wolves,
right.
Not the dinosaurs, not the wolves. I don't think State Street can handle that.
Where does it run? Where does the youth parade run?
It starts right there at the corner over there by where that little bear park is.
Okay,
That's where the registration area is. And then we run all the way down to the end of State Street where, it used to be the Golden Brown Bakery, but there's another
I know where you're talking about.
Yeah, at the end there.
Kind of by the Wanderlust.
By one, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Landmarks, when they change, it's tough.
I know, it makes it tough because it's like, okay, Golden Brown, we stop there.
Yeah, I would like to, let's say, we're going to take a little break here because we're going to listen to the Bloomberg Market Minute, and then we're going to come back and talk more with Anna Abdelnour. We're going to get some news as well and some sports and weather forecast. It's all right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
From the world's equity markets since President Donald Trump unveiled sweeping tariffs last week. A volatile session yesterday ended mostly lower, but nothing like we saw last week. The S&P 500 closed down by almost 0.25%. The Dow was down around 0.9%. The Nasdaq edged a bit higher, adding 0.1%. President Trump made a litany of comments yesterday about his planned duties on worldwide trading partners. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told Fox Business he hopes tariff rates will come down as negotiations get going with U.S. trading partners and that everything will be on the table. The Treasury chief said that perhaps almost 70 countries now have approached the U.S. And Meta Platforms is expanding protections for teen users of its Instagram, Facebook, and Messenger apps. It's the latest attempt to quiet critics who say the company is harming the young. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
Temperature outside right now in Benton Harbor, it's 27 degrees, 29 in St. Joseph, 28 in South Haven. But it doesn't feel that warm outside because we've got 18 degrees for it feels like in St. Joseph. I swear, when I woke up this morning and when I got out the door and came here to the studios at about 4 a.m., somewhere around there, it was snowing. There were snowflakes falling, and I thought, ha ha, Mother Nature, I put away my snow shovel. There's no way you can continue snowing like this. So hopefully it won't, knock on wood. But we do have a partly cloudy day in store today, a high around 37 degrees. Northwest winds are going to continue 10 to 15 miles per hour. I still like my idea of a wind farm. Can we do a wind energy generation thing around? It's just been blowing nonstop.
It has been blowing nonstop.
The birds are getting tired.
The poor little robins.
Yeah, right? The robin, they're trying to sing their little spring songs, and you can't hear them over the wind gusts.
Yes.
Well, anyway, we're talking with Anna Abdelnour this hour. She's the president of the Blossomtime Festival. We'll continue that conversation in a moment, but weather forecast for tonight, partly cloudy, a low around 27. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, a chance of rain or snow tomorrow. About a 60% chance of rain or snow tomorrow. High is going to be around 42 degrees. Thursday's forecast, mostly cloudy, a chance of rain, a high of 48. Friday and Saturday, it's going to be partly to mostly cloudy, although the temperatures are going to be nice. 50 degrees on Friday, 56 on Saturday. Sunday, it's going to be partly cloudy with a high of around 60 degrees and only a very slim chance of rain on Monday, which is the time for the Miss Blossomtime pageant, and the high around 67.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to make it nice.
Very exciting.
That's going to be great. We'll continue our conversation talking about Blossomtime in just a moment. First, we've got more to talk about ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Wall Street ride is showing no signs of slowing down. Stocks were higher overnight, and U.S. futures are pointing higher as well. Here's ABC's Lana Moise.
Asian stock markets opened higher overnight after tumbling the day before as President Trump's tariffs shake up markets here and abroad. This after another wild day on Wall Street Monday. The Dow seeing its largest one-point swing in a day ever, going from 1,700 points down, up 2,500 points, then back down, ultimately ending the day down nearly 350 points.
President Trump now threatening an additional 50% tariffs on all Chinese goods after China said it would implement a 34% tariff on U.S. goods coming into its country. The Supreme Court allowing the Trump administration to use an 18th century wartime law to deport Venezuelan migrants, but also saying they deserve a court hearing before deportations. Rivers surging in places like Kentucky, freezing temperatures complicating cleanup. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:37 is the time. It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Some of the news that we'll be covering at 8 o'clock this morning. The St. Joseph City Commission put the final approvals in place yesterday to put paid parking in place in downtown St. Joseph. At their regular meeting last night, the commission approved the ordinance for paid parking and the associated rules. This was the final approval needed. Everything now goes into place, and between May 15th and September 15th, there will now be paid parking areas on the west side of Main Street from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Other news that we'll be telling you about at 8 o'clock this morning, we'll update a story we talked about yesterday. The St. Joseph Township Board of Trustees has approved an agreement with Lincoln Township over the use of the Maiden Lane sewer line. We'll give you the update there. And then police have seized more than 550 marijuana plants from an unlicensed grow facility in Baroda Township. Yeah, the neighbors apparently were complaining about the smell, and the police were investigating. They saw some people hanging around the building. They thought maybe there's a break-in going on there. Nope, what they found inside, 550 marijuana plants growing. They detained a couple of individuals. We'll talk about that story and more coming up at 8 o'clock this morning right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got sports coming up in just a moment. First, we're going to check in on the latest state news.
The Michigan News Network.
Okay, back on the video live stream for the WSJM Morning Show. Yeah, 550 plants. That's hard to hide.
That's a lot of plants.
That's a lot of pot. Yeah, they got 550 marijuana plants, and I think in excess of 34 pounds of processed marijuana.
Wow.
And so, I mean, as part of the news team, I've visited and toured the legal facilities that happen here.
Right.
And, you know, the neighbors were talking about smell. My clothes smelled like marijuana for days after that,
Really?
even after washing them. Yeah, so I mean, the smell is something real.
I would believe so. So, do you think it was in a warehouse then?
It was in a warehouse. It was I don't know if they owned the warehouse or if it was just an abandoned warehouse that they decided they could take up shop in, or if there was some kind of agreement or something like that. But yeah, I mean, for 550 plants, and you think about, okay, you've got to have the water system in there. You've got to have the fertilizer and pesticides if you do that kind of thing. You've got the harvesting thing. You've got the grow lights. I mean, that's a significant operation.
That's a big operation.
Yeah. And
especially for a private individual. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. So I'm sure more will be coming out about that because they detained 2 individuals. One of them was from Indiana. The other person was from Colorado.
Oh.
So I'm sure they're going to be looking at the title, the deeds, and property owner. And hey, did you know there's something going on in one of your abandoned buildings? What?
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy, though.
I did not notice the electrical bill being very high.
Yeah, it's spinning. Yeah.
So anyway, news. It's fun stuff. All right. Yeah, that was in the 8,000 block of Stevensville, Baroda Road. I have to take a drive by there and see what that building looks like. We saw the inside. It's filled with pot. Okay, we were talking with Anna Abdelnour. She is the president of Blossomtime Festival. And so talk a little bit, if you would, about, you mentioned earlier, you're a nonprofit organization.
Yes, we are.
And it takes resources to make all this come together and happen.
Yeah.
And you work with a small but mighty team.
Right.
How does all this come together?
Well, honestly, I think it's from, thankfully, it's other volunteers and myself out there asking and trying to figure out if we can get some sponsorship. Yeah. We're very excited that Four Winds is going to be the Grand Faux Parade sponsor this year.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
How does that come together? How did that happen?
A miracle. Truly a miracle. I mean, I think they definitely, we align with each other's views on traditions and community things. And so it's a good fit. It really is a great fit for both of us. I hope they're as happy as we are about it because I feel that they have so much wonderful history behind them, and we do too. Yeah. And so I think that's really a good marriage between the two. We're excited for our newest sponsor is going to be State Farm, the local State Farm agents. They're going to be sponsoring the Mr. Blossomtime pageant this year. They're the Noble Knight sponsors. Okay. So 17 agents from locally got together and decided they wanted to sponsor the pageant and be a part of our festival. And I like a good neighbor, we're so glad they're with us. Yeah. I mean, and they're also offering 4 scholarships for the kids.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's remarkable. I mean, truly good neighbors. And this is something that we're so happy. It really helps our festival because, like we said, we are a nonprofit and we are always constantly looking, to help ourselves with funds or whatever. The entry fees and the tickets money we charge for anything goes for scholarships and goes into kind of keep ourselves going. So it's not like, we've got.
Yeah. You're not making a profit off of it.
No.
This isn't the Price is Right.
You're not making a profit. Yeah. And people, are involved because they believe in what the festival does for the youth at the area. And that's truly, I think, the magic of what this is all about. Yeah. It's, keeping us all there and keeping us all involved for the right reasons. And so any sponsor that would like to become part of us, WSJM, you guys have been a long-term sponsor too.
Thank you.
And thank you guys because you guys make so many things possible for us. And with our, advertising the pageants and having us live, at the pageant weekend, of course. Yep. There's so many good things you guys do. And we're so appreciative of every one of the sponsors we have because you guys really are the miracle workers that keep our festival going.
Well, thank you. And thank you for keeping the festival going. I mean, 119 years.
Pretty old. I mean, I'm old, but the festival's older. I mean, which is true.
So you weren't there for day one. Is that what you're...
I wasn't there for day one. When they started the rolling of the parade and everything down the street. I was not there. I've been there for a lot of parades, but not the first one.
Do you ever go to other communities' events like this to see how they do it? If there's anything that they could learn from us or we could learn from them?
Well, I think yes, I do. And I always do believe there's a learning at wherever you go. Yeah. I mean, because there's something I'm going to pick up. Even when I go to somebody else's pageant, if I go to Miss America or if I get whatever it is, or another parade, Indianapolis parade, the 500.
Yeah.
There's always something you're going to pick up. And I look at things through a different lens. I watch what's going on. I mean, especially at a pageant, I'm very attuned to the whole what's going on at every moment. And at a parade, I'm in tune to the little things, the things that I think nobody notices, but they're important.
Yeah.
And I think it's a real learning. I mean, if we stop trying to educate ourselves, we could go stagnant.
Yeah, you have to have that continuous improvement mindset. That's incredibly important.
Yeah.
Right? There are never any solutions, only countermeasures
Right.
until the next challenge comes across,
And
which you will.
And I think that's one of the beauty about having so many of these young volunteers that we have.
Yeah.
They have, their lenses are different. And they see 3D where I may see black and white, but it's so great because there's so many of them that I love that they bring a different experience to us.
Yeah. All right. We're talking with Anna Abdelnour. She's the president of Blossomtime Festival. We're going to get this going back on the radio as well in just a moment, right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Thanks for joining us.
You know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Cool with sun and clouds mixed today. Highs in the upper 30s to near 40. Another cold night under partly cloudy skies. Lows upper 20s. We'll reach the low 40s Wednesday as a mix of rain and snow arrives later in the day. Some lingering showers around Thursday. Gradually warming as the week goes on. Highs will return to the 50s as we close out the week. I'm WSB 22 meteorologist Jessica Burns.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:46, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning, I'm Ken Lundberg. It's Tuesday, April 8th, and we're continuing our discussion this hour with Anna Abdelnour, Blossomtime Festival president. The Blossomtime Festival, by the way, is the longest running and largest multi-community festival in the state of Michigan.
Yes.
Congratulations. That's a heavy burden to carry.
It's a great one to carry.
It's a great one to carry. And so since it is the longest running and largest multi-community festival. By the way, I'm going to make this part of the Moody on the Market update. I'm going to read a sponsor just to see, because we have to have sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to make the wheels move. Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And the Moody on the Market update, we talk about business updates. We talk about life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here, and interesting people you should know. And I think we hit all three buckets this morning. I mean, because you've got great new sponsors this year for Blossomtime Festival, life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here. I mean, this is part of Southwest Michigan.
Absolutely.
This is Southwest Michigan.
Absolutely.
And then also interesting people you should know. Anna Abdelnour.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah,
Ken.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And so because it is the longest running and largest multi-community festival, there have to be some oopsie moments.
Oh, my gosh. I think there's a lot of oopsie moments. I'm trying to gather in my head which oopsie moment I probably could tell. There's so many things that happen behind this.
And key words there, probably could tell.
Probably
on
could
the air.
tell. Could tell. I'm thinking back even on tour week when we take the queens out on the bus and we go and visit all the different communities and go to the different stations, whether it's WSBT, and we go to the schools. We always travel with a police escort by the Berrien County Sheriff's Department, and which is awesome because we're on a tour bus and we're making sure everybody's safety and the time restraints are going through.
That makes sense.
I remember one year. It's not funny because we really do watch your children very closely.
Okay.
We got everybody on the bus, and we always do a countdown to make sure everybody's on the bus. And sometimes things happened, and one girl had slipped off the bus to go to use the restroom, but didn't tell anybody.
Oh no.
And then we took off.
Oh no. You left without one of the royalty?
Yeah. It was like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, about 3 minutes into it, we kind of figured out we were missing one because the kids go, so-and-so's not here. And we had to all circle back, and there she was waiting at the school for us. I mean, it's just so funny because we're so cautious with your kids. Please, we are so cautious. As I always tell them, we're probably stricter than their own parents are with them.
Do you now implement a countermeasure where you do a nose count before?
We will.
You
we
take
do.
off?
Yeah, we do. We do have a number count, and we do a nose count. We walk the aisles and we look to make sure.
Okay.
Because someone, slipping off to go to the bathroom. I don't even know how that happens, but it does. And then, of course, I always think about just a couple short years ago, clowns are a unit that gets invited to participate.
Yeah.
And we love having our clowns in the parade.
Absolutely.
One year, a clown looked like he had too much fun before he came to the
Oh,
parade.
no.
And he was not able to ride his
He
bicycle.
was clowning around in the wrong way.
He was clowning around he was falling. He was
Oh, no.
trying to, so unfortunately that clown had to probably be removed from the parade. But you know what? This makes it always interesting for all of us to be able to see what is going on or what not has happened. And of course, there's always the floats going over the bridge, the Blossom Land.
Yeah.
We've had floats. Unfortunately, they have lost their brakes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a steep hill if you don't have...
It's a very steep hill. It's a very steep hill. And that's why we don't have the little tractors pull them anymore.
Right.
Because the little tractors, they can't take that weight. And so that's why we've encouraged people to have a truck now pull their float. It's
that
safety.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It's safety.
That makes sense. No, thank you for sharing those.
Yeah,
I'm sure you have more that we probably can't talk.
We'll do that quietly at some point.
All right. No, thank you very much. It's we'll come back in just a moment and conclude this interview, but that's the Moody on the Market update for today. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. We'll continue our conversation and conclude in a couple of minutes. We're talking with Anna Abdelnour, president of Blossomtime Festival. The big Blossomtime activities really getting underway this weekend.
Yay.
So we'll talk about that in just a moment right here on WSJM.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers.
Oh, man. Thank you for sharing the clown story.
Yeah. And then one year we actually had another clown that wasn't even a unit.
Oh, no. Wasn't part of the actual formal
no,
parade.
He wasn't registered. Some guy just jumped, and I don't want to share that because I don't want to encourage people to do that.
No, don't do that.
But it was like scary. We didn't know where this guy came from. And it's kind of weird because you never know with terrorists and everything what's going on. Who this unit? We have no idea this guy's, and he's jumping in and out, and the cops are trying to catch him.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
In this day and age, we got to worry about things like that now.
Yeah, and so you do have a great police presence that's represented in the parade.
Correct.
Which we want to extend our appreciation to the law enforcement for not only for what they do during that parade day and helping make sure everyone is safe, but also for everything they do all year round.
All year round.
And so you thank the law enforcement, you thank the veterans, you thank everyone else who's in there. The bands, I love seeing the bands, the marching bands. Yeah. Do you have a favorite part of the parade?
Oh, you know what?
That's like asking you to choose between your children, but
and for me, it's probably when the indie guys go down.
Oh yeah, the fast cars, the muscle cars.
No,
different guys.
The motorcycle guys.
Oh, those guys, the Indianapolis Motorcycle Brigade.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Don't think about it. Those are real. They're real beat officers. They're on the street every day.
Yeah,
they just do this. This is not a paid gig for them. This is a volunteer. They practice on their own time. To do this, and they travel around the country. One of the interesting facts is we are the oldest consecutive performance they've done.
Oh, really?
Besides their own parade.
Okay.
So since 1963, they've been starting our parade.
Wow. And it's amazing. And if you haven't seen it, these are full-size law enforcement motorcycles. That's what they use when they're out there patrolling and responding.
Yes.
And typically they're Harley Davidsons.
Yes.
They're several 100-pound bikes.
Big bikes.
They're heavy.
Yeah.
And they are doing the most nimble activities you could expect, and they're doing it fast.
The maneuvers are unbelievable.
It really is. It's super cool.
And I love the fact that after their day of working 8 hours, they're out there in the evenings practicing.
That's super cool. And then you mentioned the Indy, and I thought, Indy cars, but you were talking about the Indianapolis Police. I was also thinking about the muscle cars that you let in there to do their thing. That's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. We just have to be cautious that they, don't rev up. Yeah, of course. Because kids do run out in front of us. That's what we have to be careful.
Yeah. I'm glad you're thinking about that because I thought about that too.
Yeah.
During last year's parade.
Yeah, because that's something we do try to tell them you can't, because people always want to ask about why we don't allow candy to be thrown or things.
Oh, okay.
And that's an insurance reason for safety because little kids running out in front of a car to pick up candy.
Yeah.
if the next unit's not aware or watching it, they may not be able to see them.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And the circus performers as well, the folks who are on either unicycles or on the stilts and stuff. That's fun.
I mean, I love seeing them too. Yeah. I don't know how they do that. 2.5 miles walk like that.
Yeah, you get arthritis in your feet.
Oh my! I bet you do.
All right, we will conclude this conversation with Anna Abdelnour in just a moment. She's the president of the Blossomtime Festival, and ask if there's anything else you want to share and remind people of all the ways they can get involved in either watching or sponsoring or volunteering. However, we'll talk about that in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
That's the Liberty Christian difference. Learn more today at libertychristianmi.org. Liberty Christian Classical School. Education you can trust.
From the Pat Moody Studios, this is WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, a product of Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:55 WSJM Morning Show continue. What do you mean you didn't tell anybody you were coming on?
Because
Anna?
Because I may not be. I don't know. I don't know if I'm interesting to listen to.
Oh my goodness! Of course you are.
Thank you, but I don't know.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. My special guest this hour has been Anna Abdelnour, who is very interesting and the president
Thank you.
of Blossomtime Festival. I was just looking at the video live stream comments. Chris Nash says, "You're rocking it, Anna." Katie Williams says, "Good morning, Anna." Good morning, everyone. So we've got a number of comments there. So people very supportive.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for supporting me.
Tell us a little bit. Run down again the schedule of main events that you want people to know about. The big picture for what's starting coming up this weekend. Okay. Blossomtime.
This weekend, of course, is the Mr. and Miss Pageant starting at 7:00 both evenings. As mentioned before, tickets are available. Then we're going to roll into our Youth Ball on Friday, and then the Youth Parade on the May 3rd, and then, of course, the Grand Folk Parade. Interesting thing about the Grand Folk Parade, we are still looking for some cars to be drivers for some of our special guests that we have.
Okay.
So if somebody has a car that's a convertible that'd be willing to hold a special guest, please contact the office, and we will put you in touch with our parade chairman, Jeff.
And that's for the Grand Floral Parade.
That's for the Grand Folk Parade.
Oh, that's great.
We're short a little few cars.
So if you have a fancy convertible that's shined up.
Yeah, we'd love it. We'd love it.
With really cool tires on it.
Yeah.
Then you don't spin the tires. You just
don't go fast.
Drive the VIPs.
Yeah, that's right. So we have some great VIPs that announcement will come out shortly, so I'm not going to take away from that. But if you'd like to volunteer, we're always looking for volunteers on all the events we have, whether it's the Youth Parade, the Grand Folk Parade, of course, Pageant Weekend right now, where I think we're good. But other than that, we could always use volunteers, always use sponsors, and most importantly, always use participants.
Yeah.
We need people to come and register. Most of our events are free, and we need people to come and just watch.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes it special is all of you out here in Southwest Michigan.
Well, thank you for everything that you do for Blossomtime. If you want more information about what we've been talking about with Anna Abdelnour this morning, you can check out blossomtimefestival.org. That's your website. Or you can call the office. What's the number?
269-982-8016.
And if, again, for volunteers, for sponsors, if you have a really cool convertible and you want to offer your time, volunteer your time and the use of your car, you would drive it, of course, in the Grand Floral Parade.
Yeah.
Reach out and ask Anna, how can I help?
Yeah.
And just go through the blossomtimefestival.org and just call the office there as well. Anna, thank you very much. Anything else you want to say this morning to close out?
Thank you so much, Ken, for having me. And
absolutely.
It's a pleasure always to be here with you guys. I'll see you Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning, bright and early.
7 o'clock.
This will be great. 6:55, please.
Okay. Oh, no, I'll be here early. I hope my kids do come.
No, that'll be great. It's 7:59. We've got news coming up in just a moment. Taking a quick look at the forecast. Outside, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, and we're going to keep those today. High around 37 degrees. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast does call for partly cloudy skies, a low of 27. The north winds will become southeast at about 5 miles per hour. As the winds change direction, they're going to bring with them some more precipitation potential tomorrow, Wednesday. Mostly cloudy skies, a 60% chance of rain or snow. depending on where and when it falls. But the high tomorrow is supposed to be around 42 degrees. Southeast winds are going to be 5 to 10 miles per hour on Wednesday. Thursday, we're looking at a mostly cloudy forecast, another chance of rain, a high of 48. Friday, partly cloudy, low of 34 and a high of 50. Saturday, it's going to be a high of 56. But the good news on Saturday is mostly sunny. Yeah, so mostly sunny on Saturday, a high of 56. Sunday's going to keep that warm temperature, probably around 60 degrees with a partly cloudy day. It's WSJM. It's 8 o'clock. Local news coming up next.
ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Dow Futures